Well, good morning and a welcome to Latrobe for state representative football. Back on the agenda for 2025. It's Tasmania versus Queensland. The third year in a row we'll see this matchup. It promises to be an intriguing doubleheader here at a famous Tasmanian football ground. It is Tasmania looking for a little bit of redemption. The home side this year went up the way to Queensland last year. It was a pretty comprehensive victory for the Queenslanders by 58 points. Last time they played in the south was at North Hobart in 2023. Queenslanders also winning that one 19 in this rejig State of Origin series we've seen, and long may it continue. This has brought some great football in recent years. I expect plenty of that today. I'm Andrew Cooling, calling the action, and joining me in special comments, coming down from the Sunshine State, is Jack Barry. Jack, welcome to Latrobe.
Thank you, Andrew. Great to be back here this year, and as you said, it's such an iconic sort of football ground to be at. A lot of history here. Great to see the great Baldock statue as we walk in here. All those traditions are looking forward to today, and our Queenslanders have come down ready to play.
Yeah, they were very impressive last year. As I said, a comprehensive victory. What can you tell us about the travelling Queensland squad today? Who are the key players we should be looking out for?
Yeah, Southwell's got up to 7 players in the squad, and we're looking for players like, of course, Steph O'Brien, the skipper. She's been fantastic. Maddie Watts, a ball winner for Queensland. Laura Roy from Morningside's another player to watch out for. So they've got a pretty good spread, and they've picked a ball-winning team.
Yeah, we certainly saw Steph O'Brien, the best of Steph O'Brien, I think the last 2 years in this particular contest. Looks like we're going to have a national anthem before we go, so we'll throw down to ground level for now. The national anthem game formalities are done with, and we're just about ready to get underway here. A pretty good day for football at Latrobe. No real wind to speak of. Overcast conditions. There was a threat of rain about earlier, but seems like that has missed us, which is good news and bodes well for the contest here this morning, and kicking off just supposed to be afternoon by the time we get underway with a big following this one. Really looking forward to this. Seeing Tasmania can get a little bit closer this year. They struggled to handle the midfield grunt of Queensland last season. There were some important movers in that interim, the likes of Smith, Barwick, Sarah Skinner might spend some time on the ball today. They're going to be key to Tasmania's chances. I think also having Freestone in the ruck this year will really help them. Madison Dunn battled hard last year. It was certainly undersized, not a natural ruckman. So they were hoping that they can get a bit more out of the engine room, but it's a pretty formidable looking Queensland side, isn't it, Jack?
It is, yeah. And Coach Jamie Stanton, she's she's pretty simple and clear with her messaging. She's a school teacher by background, by trade, so she's done her second year in the job. Obviously, she's with the Gold Coast Suns as a player still at the moment, but she's come through our coaching pathway through the academy into the South Queensland side, and then now into the state side for her second year. So she's going to be good. I want to give a shout out to Dan Viles, who's usually the voice of Queensland QAFL football, QFRW football. So we give Dan a shout out for his efforts. And but I'll try and step in as good as I can today, and put this great game together. So, but look, I mean, Tassie's had a bit of a lead in. They played 3 games earlier in the season, so I think that continuity of playing together will also go pretty well for them today.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something they have this year that they didn't last year. There wasn't a lot of familiarity, not a whole lot of even training sessions last year. They've played together a few times earlier in the year. That should help them. The other names we shout out before we get underway. The umpires for today's game from Tasmania: Riley Stevenson, Ryan Gregson, Patrick Lord, Mitchell Sheehan and Mark Holmes. And from Queensland, Belinda Marr, Boston Midgley and James Sakiris. So all the best to our whistleblowers and goal umpires out there today. So we're just about ready to get underway. It's going to be Gregory and Freestone in the ruck. Looks like Sarah Skinner has gone straight to Steph O'Brien. What a matchup that will be. Perhaps the 2 aces in the deck of both sides. O'Brien has been dominant the previous 2 years. Skinner, one of the stars of this Tasmanian outfit, as we're underway in Latrobe. Representative footy. And immediately looking to get it forward is Gregory. Lofts it towards the half-forward line. They'll go inside 50. High ball searching down there. Haynes came with the spoil. Almost spilt the way of Miller. She'll go back in for it now. Looks to weave through traffic. Handed it out the back. Kick into the pocket. Might just sit here for them. Some pressure comes. Baldwin looks to force it out. Busting through the pack, though, was Meager. Interjecting there, Limerick. Now looking to straighten up, there was Roberts White. Across to Ship. Ship with time to steady. She'll fire for home. Won't quite have the journey. Slips out the back in the direction of Baldwin. Tracks it down. Haynes with a great smother. Gets across to shut that down. The Tasmanian defence, they swarm and they force a stoppage. The pressure dialed up early, but they hold firm at the first test.
Yeah, good start. Jodie Clifford would be happy with the defence there by Tasmania. Haynes coming across to get that fist, so they couldn't take a mark. Good work.
Freestone wins it down. Tracking the ball was Miller. Freestone went back in, handed it across to Radford. Radford clears it outside defensive 50. Battling away there was Saywood pushing up the ground. Spills out the way of Smith. Smith now hands it off to Barwick. Barwick just lofts it down the wing. There was Feta Huggage. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Knocks the ball wide. Good tackle from Hill. Smith was stripped of the football. Some nice work there. And Queensland will look to build forward here. An opportunity for Roberts White. She assesses the field and just drives a kick towards the paint of 50 and is able to find a marking target in the form of Collegia. Collegia centering ball just eludes Miller. They crash in. Umpire spots a free kick. It's going to go Tasmania's way to Jacinta Limbrick.
Yeah. Olivia Marr just overzealous there with the ball there, causing that collision.
Dancing round one was Radford. Sends it long towards the middle of the ground. Looking to gather it is Davey. Has some time to turn. Fire the handball to the ruck. Gregory played the 1-2. They look to bust through the traffic. Trying to gather it's O'Brien. She's dangerous. She crashes through. Just gets the handball away in time. Now an opportunity for Miller, who snaps and snaps truly and kicks the first goal of the contest, Caitlin Miller.
Yeah, great work there by the skipper in O'Brien, and I think Coach Jamie Stanton will be happy. I think one of the game prerequisites they wanted was to be able to share that footy around. We saw under pressure there Queensland's ability to be able to shift the ball quickly by hand, get that ball inside forward 50 and gain a great goal.
Time to turn, fire the handball to the ruck. Gregory played the 1-2. O'Brien already exerting her influence on this contest. She's one Tasmania will be all too keenly aware they need to put the clamps on. She's so tough to bring down. Drew the extra defender away, freed up the space for Miller. Queensland gets some reward. Their early dominance in the territory. Back to the middle. Competing well was Freestone. And ball out the back. Umpire spots a hold. Will go the way of the Tasmanians. Freestone to take it out of the middle and send the map forward for the first time this afternoon. It's a good ball to Mitchell. Drop one she probably should have taken. Followed up with a good tackle. Mishandled by Limbrick. Lamb applying some pressure. Ball spills out. Umpire says free kick the way Maddie Lamb. Lamb now spears one and finds the marking target inside 50. And it is good option in the form of Grace White, who's been in prolific goal-kicking form this year.
Yeah, look, 2 excellent inside 50 kicks by Tasmania. They didn't quite get the first one, but they nailed the second one.
So Grace White looking to respond to the Miller goal. And she sends it right through the middle. That's just the response the Tasmanians are after. And a healthy local crowd enjoying the work of Grace White there. She goes back and kicks a goal. And as I said, she has been in some real goal-scoring touch this year, Grace White.
Well, she's kicked 26 goals this year for North Hobart, so a great way for her to start her big game today. And that was, as I said, 2 great inside 50 kicks. The first one was dropped, unfortunately, but again, just another hit. So their ability to be able to find some space, so great decision-making by the midfield of Tasmania.
Good pressure too from Maddie Lamb, another who stood out in the recent representative series between the regions that most of the players here today were heavily involved in. So back to the middle, one down by Gregory. First hands to it though, Webster. Ball not coming out of there.
Webster, sorry, just working her player under the ball there. It was good work.
Gregory gets the better of Freestone there. Clark first to the football though, was buffeted by Day. Handball out into space. Anyone gather cleanly here. Scrap at ground level, and the umpire will call for it once again.
Maddie Lamb just sitting off the contest here. She's going to get picked up now for Tasmania.
Gregory wins it down. Ball spills out the way towards Roberts White. She's pressured there by Perry King, who gets absolutely crunched. The umpire says holding the footy. Red hot there. Free kick away of Maddie Watts. So Watt looks up, sets a high ball for the marking targets, off hands, all the way of Radford, dished it off to Skinner. Skinner with a hurried clear and kick. It's going to come right back at them though, because Roy is on the end of it, and she moves it quickly back inside the forward 50, spiked away into a dangerous area by Gregory. Roberts White handed it off to O'Brien. O'Brien worked it towards Miller. Miller maintained her balance, but the handball was sharked there by Clark. Clark now clears it away when searching for Molly Mitchell, who gets some contact over the shoulder and will get the free kick.
Yeah, great work by Mitchell, playing in front, getting the rewards.
And White will be a key. That's not such a good kick though. Straight to Roberts White. Followed up well though, did Mitchell. Smith flings it out the back of the contest. Roy first to it, pressured by Lamb. That's what she's noted for, a tough tackling. Through traffic though, White with a great handball to Feta Huggich. Feta Huggich now sends the Queenslanders inside 50. Ravel with a timely spoil. Mia Ma looking to battle her way through there, but she's going nowhere. Hill locks that one in. On down, Skinner. Hands to the football, just curls one forward, searching for Grace White. First to it, though, Zarafa. She's brought to ground, got the handball away in time, though. Now, Gregory heads wide. Now it's too wide, it trickles out of play. So it'll be last touch in Tasmania's ball to Skinner.
Tassie not looking to waste any opportunity, don't want to just blaze away for the sake of it.
Skinner forced to kick to a contest. Off hands, and they share it now with Osborne. Osborne heads centrally. Perry King bounce past her, and now an opportunity for the Queenslanders. Long searching ball inside 50. Revel first to the footy though, has a couple to contend with. She'll do well to nullify the contest. Did pretty well. Umpire's whistle goes. It's going to be a free kick for a hold on Joey Ravel.
The Tasmania defence really standing up at this stage of the game.
New faces in the defence from last year's side. Ravel, an experienced customer. The kick, a tough one for Lamb. Had a few to beat. She'll spring away with the football though. Handball to a North Hobart teammate in Clark, and in the end, over the shoulder, I think is the call. No, umpire says they let him toss it up. Stoppages early on here. Freestone and Gregory battling away. Sending it forward was Roy, but sent it straight to Limbrick. Limbrick just quickly rushes the kick forward. Roy, she was stripped of the football. Now Mitchell working upfield. Couldn't take it cleanly. Levine stripped her of it. Now perhaps an opportunity, some good hands from Day, and swung forward by Gregory in towards the hot spot, just eludes Ravel. Perhaps a chance for Roy if it'll sit for her. In support is Miga, who'll gather now. She's immediately wrapped up. Tassie defence holding firm again.
Just that perceived pressure, under pressure, couldn't pick that ball up below her knees. It ended up causing a stoppage. Queensland need to be cleaner there.
So Ravel doing the ruck work inside defensive 50. Day couldn't quite track it. Saywood swung the handball over the top. Radford gets a hurry kick clear, only so far as Schneider. Schneider, she coughed it up. All back into dispute. Purton crunching in. Sliding in after that one was Day. And then worked for by Roberts-White towards the teeth of goal. Ball just bounced awkwardly. Ravel stripped of it. Radford just kind of flung it out. Ball to be won here. Battling away Roberts-White. Banks on top of it. Umpire calls for it.
Yep. Tassie working hard over time in defence there, and Queensland certainly applying the pressure inside forward 50.
Screws being turned by the Maroons. Will it lead to a score? Might be a free kick going the way of Queensland here. It will be. A hold against King, and it's going to go the way of the goal kicker, Miller. We'll look for her second.
She's quite skillful by foot, is Miller. Kicked the 18 goals this season.
So she has one already. Can Caitlin Miller find her side second, and her second of the first quarter here? Bit of an angle. Considered approach. Just across the face, and a minor score only.
So it's been good pressure early by both teams, but just relentless inside 50s at the moment for Queensland, giving scoring opportunities.
Certainly on top in the territory battle at the moment. That kick straight to Ship. Takes the intercept. Wastes no time. Drives Queensland forward once again, but Saywood with a strong defensive mark.
Yeah, read that beautifully, Saywood. That was a fantastic mark.
Played on into a little bit of trouble there from Baldwin, so just forced to kick wide, but Limbrick does well, just outpoints Osborne. Gets it moving quickly because she saw White peeling off into space. Mifsud the next link in the chain if she can hit her up, and does. Mifsud now has a look inside the forward 50. The options present. Mitchell's down there, a bit too much on that kick for her though, and Pittman across to intercept.
I'll be happy with that play. Obviously just fell down right at the end there. It was beautiful ball movement by the Tassie team.
It was clean, wasn't it? So the Queenslanders look to bounce off half back now. They've got some runners forward of the ball. Sends it in the direction there. Kalija. In the end, a stoppage forced.
Yeah, both teams certainly putting their body on the line today. A lot of pride in both Guernseys today.
It's Queensland by a point. Gregory doing well in the ruck, Jules. Won that one down. Clark was tackling initially, then ended up with the football and another stoppage. Angie Clark will do plenty of that grunt work on the inside for Tasmania today. Key to her side's hopes. Ball flung out in the direction of Davey. Couldn't take it cleanly. Roberts-White there, and now across to Watt. Watt's centering ball, just spoiled away, but the danger hasn't yet passed as the snap is going to find Joey Ravel, who just misjudged it in the goal square. Has herself a problem here, needs to get across the line and finds the safety of it.
Yeah, Watt's certainly starting to influence the play for the Maroons, getting a lot of kicks inside 50, setting up a lot of play.
So Ravel, just a clear defensive 50, banks the target here, had two to fly against. Freestone in support, so too Smith. Smith handed it back to Mackenzie Banks. Clark spun there. Umpire says play on as it fell the way of Lamb. Lamb's kick won't quite find its way through to Mitchell. Was able to break it up, but did so illegally in the umpire's estimation. The free kick goes the way of White, who moves Queensland into the corridor. A bit of a risky kick that. Tasmania looking to counter, just flung forward there almost. And now out the back is Molly Mitchell. Coming back to defend it was White. Mitchell with three to contend with here. The numbers firmly favouring Queensland, but Molly Mitchell does brilliantly just to lock it in and will force a stoppage.
Well, 3 versus 1, Andrew, and she done a fantastic job to lock that ball in and get reinforcement down there to help Tasmania. Great work.
So a big win from Molly Mitchell there. Can it translate into a score? The ball slapped into space, and They're able to clear as Ship got it to Feta Huggage. Feta Huggage goes kicking towards the wing. Broken up down there by Perry King. Perry King has some support in the form of Limbrick. A couple of experienced customers combined there. Limbrick centering ball is chopped off by Roy. Roy will look to switch it up. Had to be precise with the kick and was. Found Pittman at half back. She wastes no time. Flung it over the top to Gregory, who tumbled an ugly looking ball into the middle of the ground. They keep a hold of the football though. Levine quite gather, but coming away with it was Roberts White. Clark did well, the robber of the football. Thought about the give, then decided to kick it instead into the middle of the ground for Freestone. Handed it to Lamb under pressure. Just got the handball away in time to Mitchell. Back to Lamb. Somehow manufactures a kick in the Mifsud direction. Spoiled away from her, but Mifsud follows up with a good tackle and forces the ball up.
Tassie just keep applying the pressure. Both teams paying for skill executions that has gone wrong. Turnovers are happening.
Eddie Clifford would be delighted with the endeavour her side have shown thus far as Miller handballs it back. The numbers favouring the Maroons here, and Osborne looks to kick up to the wing. Ravel just worked underneath the football cleverly by Collegia. Ball back into dispute as Banks lays a crunching tackle there and sends into the deck there. So it's going to be O'Brien doing the ruck work here against Ravel. Handball out towards Schneider. Schneider kicks towards the half-forward line. Ball back into dispute here. Spills out. Hill has a problem. Ship stripped her of it and wins the free kick. So Rihanna Ship. Has a look inside forward 50. Had O'Brien presenting short. Will go slightly further afield instead. Ball spills out the way of Day. Haynes did just enough to put her off her kick, but Collegia gets boots the ball. That too smothered. Under pressure here was King. Hurried the kick and turned it straight over to Ship. Perhaps too far out to score. Wanted to pass. Drives it deep now. Off hands and out the back is Day. And with the open goal beckoning, she drives through Queensland's second.
Well, just that constant pressure by Queensland, getting those inside forward 50 kicks. And, great work by Rihanna Ship. She's just holding it width. She's on both sides of the ground there, just holding it out there. The ball's been turned over, and she's had a couple of good looks inside forward 50. Of course, the pressure, and then the spill's free, and they get their third for the afternoon, or second for the afternoon, is it?
Yeah, she's covering some territory around the Ship, isn't she? We saw her bob up a defensive 50 moments ago. Now goes up, takes the intercept, and sets that one up. So hard running.
Yeah, hard running wingman. Yep.
So back to the middle. Queensland by 8 points. 3 minutes plus change remaining. Ravel continues to spell in the ruck. Won that one down. There we go again, as able to bust through was Barwick. Brian. Ravel reaches in, but down to the opposition. Tumbled forward by Baldwin, out into space. Clever little handball, worked its way to Davey, who was brought down. A wonderful tackle from Shania Saywood.
She's had a great start to the game, Saywood.
A vital defensive acts. That kick a little iffy, might find its way through to Clark. She scraps at ground level, couldn't come away with it. Queensland will now handball to Ship. Ship looking to set things up, weaving through traffic. High ball inside 50. Almost brought down, not quite the mark. Trying to shrug free was Miller. Goes back in for it, but Saywood again is there to lock things down.
Ship certainly having a bit of a purple patch at the moment.
All up inside the forward 50. Gregory, here's the dangerous O'Brien, gets her kick away. It's just offline. Minor score for Steph O'Brien.
Such a flexible player, O'Brien. Is playing midfield, then she goes into the ruck and play key forward, so just influencing areas of the game.
He's the dominant player on the ground last year in Queensland's big win. A couple of moments in his first quarter. Tasmania have done a reasonable job.
Yeah, they've been very good. They've had some, their backline defence has been under pressure, but they're working hard as a unit.
Brian might get across to influence this one, but Ravel did really well. Umpire says multiple hands, though, and won't pay the mark. Ravel thinks she's got it, but the umpire had said ball up. Shelby Ravel not quite agreeing with that. First call was clear. O'Brien gets the better in this ruck contest, but won it down only so far as Webster. Her handball didn't really clear the vicinity. Webster will go back in, but she's worked off it by Watt. No opportunity for Davey, flicks it up. Diving in was Hill. No one's going to escape there as the umpire will have it.
Yeah, full credit to both sides. Just the tackle pressure from both sides has been outstanding early in this game.
In frenetic, O'Brien wins it down, then goes in. Khalija gets her kick away. Centering handball, a good one. Davey with a shot on goal. It's working. Back, not quite enough. A few chances just starting to flood late on in the quarter here for Queensland. Two goals for.
Yeah, again, just players, they're certainly getting numbers of support to the ball carrier. Giving them plenty of options to have these shots on goal.
Wide kick is a good one to Barwick, who just peeled off into a pocket of space. Haynes and White want it down the line. Oops, aware of the time on the clock, just uses up her full time. Ship will have to go quickly here with just 6 seconds left. Can she find a mark? She wheels off and sends it inside forward 50. Big contest here. Spills out the back, and the siren will come to Tasmania's rescue as Maddie Baldwin was perhaps looming out the back there. But that'll be quarter time here at Latrobe. A 10-point lead to Queensland. 2-4-16. Tasmania at 1 straight 6. What did you make of that first quarter, Jack Barry?
Yeah, no, it was plenty to like for both teams. I saw a lot of positives I'll take out of it. Queensland's ability to be able to share the ball around, but they're doing it under pressure, and the Tasmanians certainly brought the heat. A couple of times Tassie's gone forward 50. They looked okay. They just haven't had quite the numbers, so their ability to transition down there as quick as I can to outnumber Queensland is what they'll look for, but plenty to like about both teams early days.
So a 10-point margin at quarter time. We'll take a quick breather and be back shortly with the second term live from Latrobe. It's Queensland leading this one by 10 points at the first judge. And it is a good option. So Grace White looking to respond to the Miller goal. And she sends it right through the middle. That's just the response the Tasmanians are after. And a healthy local crowd enjoying the work of Grace. Pressured there by Perry King, who gets absolutely crunched. The umpire says holding the footy. All the way of Radford, dished it off to Skinner. Skinner with a hurried clear and kick. It's going to come right back at them though, because Roy is on the end of it and she moves it quickly.
Side forward 50.
Screws being turned by the Maroons will lead to a score. But Khalija gets boot to ball. That too smothered. Under pressure here was King. Hurried the kick and turned it straight over to Ship. Perhaps too far out to score. Wanted to pass. Drives it deep now. Off hands and out the back is Day. And with the open goal beckoning, she drives through Queensland's second.
Well, just that constant pressure by Queensland, getting those inside forward 50 kicks. And
aware of the time on the clock, just uses up her full time. Ship will have to go quickly here with just 6 seconds left. Can she find a mark? She wheels off and sends it inside forward 50. Big contest here. Spills out the back, and the siren will come to Tasmania's rescue as Maddie Baldwin was perhaps looming out the back there. So back ahead of the second quarter here at Latrobe. It's Queensland in the ascendancy by 10 points. A pretty tight first quarter. Queensland probably dominant in the last 10 minutes or so. Started to generate a few more chances and good value for their lead at this stage. Who did you think the better players were in quarter number one, Jack Barry?
Well, certainly I thought Maddie Watts was really good. Been inside midfielder. She won a lot of the footy. Ship done a really well job. She finished off the quarter strong. She's been holding her width on the wing, done really well. And Mars done also. She got her hands on the ball a lot inside forward 50. And I thought for Tasmania, really liked the work in defence of Saywood and Ravel. I think they were working overtime, but they were strong and solid. And Mitchell gave them a real presence up forward, and the work of Clark through the midfield has been also good for Tassie. So I'm sure both teams will regroup. And as I was going to say, Andrew, I think unbelievably, though, that both teams have been really physical, haven't they? It's been a really strong contested game so far. Yeah,
it really has. It's been notable. There's been plenty of heat in the contest. You don't have long to get rid of the football.
Yep.
You're going to get crunched as we're just waiting for a few of the men's players from the next games to meander their way off the field here. The umpire ready to get proceedings back underway.
I'm sure, Andrew, coach will say the same. Just want a bit more composure under pressure.
So we're ready to go in quarter number two. Freestone and Gregory to meet again in the middle. Gregory won that one down, bounced off Roberts White. Spills out the back of the contest. Handball from Davey back to Roberts White. Curls one around the corner, out into space. King tracking the football towards the line, has some pressure coming in the form of Gregory. Just worked her over there. Webster got a hand in, spilled out towards Clark, sends the tumbling ball up towards the wing. Big contest. Maddie Lamb hands to the football, didn't take it cleanly, but worked it out nicely to Saywood. Saywood now to Olivia Smith. Sends it searching ball in the Mitchell direction. She takes the mark at half forward. Sorry, that's Purton. Who'll look up. Queensland jumpers getting back in defence, but thought her way through that pretty well. Found Mifsud. Opportunity. Send this one inside forward 50. Good mark taken in defence. The ruck at Gregory getting back. Did well. Slams it on the boot. Kick favours Limbrick. Spoiling it away was Osborne. Spilt the way of Clark, but she just lost her footing. Good handball there. Saywood to Hill. Hill just kicks it out into space. Smith arriving there. So too was Ma. Ma did really well though. Wins the football. Turns away with it now. Ma gets her kick into the middle of the ground. Yeah, that's a good mark by Collegia. Collegia spears a short ball. Found Day. Day now. It's a wide open forward 50. And she sends it in the dangerous O'Brien's direction. Saywood. Stride for stride. Strips her, got the handball away just in time. Day brought down by Haynes. And the umpire says, I'll have it. And the effort of Saywood, warmly appreciated by the crowd there.
Yeah, great work by Saywood again. She's just applying the pressure.
One of the few, certainly, with a physical profile that can match the likes of O'Brien, as this one spills the way of Skinner. Off hands and out of play.
Because Tasmania certainly matching Queensland for the physicality.
Certainly brought plenty of intent here as Webster and battle off the ball there. Deep throw in. Clark. Umpire's whistle's gone. It's going to be a free kick going the way of Freestone. So Freestone sends it up towards the wing through the hands of Roy. Gathering it was White, just kind of kicked it into space and everyone will converge there. First to it was Pittman who just sides through and then fired a handball out. Couldn't quite sit for Osborne. Back in Pittman, now Lamb ran straight in to Osborne. And it's locked in the middle of the ground. Gregory, lovely ruck work, won it down to Watt. High kick. Sends it wide towards Ma. Limbrick cuts across. Good shepherd laid by Mackenzie Banks, and that allowed Limbrick the time just to spot a pass in the middle of the ground. Now it'll be Barwick driving it towards the half-forward line. Doing well was Saywood. Saywood dancing through traffic. Sends it out into open space. Mifsud's got to give chase. It's Federhugic first to the ball, but took an unkind bounce back towards the goal. Mifsud pressuring Federhugic. Bit of a hurried kick out there. Might fall the way of Lamb. Under a bit of pressure there from Davidson. Got the handball out just in time. Clever handball back to Perry King. Straightens up. Sends it towards the teeth of goal. Mifsud spoiling the ball down. Grace White gets hands to the football, but she's going nowhere.
Yeah, Tasmania having a couple of really good looks inside forward 50 now. Again, decision making is going to be crucial here. They've been pretty good at it so far today.
The ruck able to win that. Umpire's whistle goes, and it's going to be a free kick to the Tasmanians, and Grace White with an opportunity for her second major.
Well, good work there by Tasmania. Just that pressure there, and they've got in the right spot to get a shot on goal.
Cause the upset today. You feel they need to take their goal scoring chances when they present. Grace White already has one. Grace White has two. She nails the kick. And Tasmania close back within 4 points.
No better pressure than scoreboard pressure, as you called, Andrew. So good work there by Tasmania. Again, their ball movement's been pretty good. Their decision-making has also been pretty good going inside forward 50. So, again, they've capitalised on their opportunities as Queensland make the changes. And coming onto the ground is Kiara Zarafa. So, again, she's a beautiful kick. So, moving in defence for the Queenslanders, but good work by Tasmania. They've responded to Jodie Clifford's talk at quarter time. They get the first on the board.
So back to the middle. Nicely won down again by Gregory. Impressive in the ruck so far. Skinner couldn't take it cleanly. One the ball out of there. Umpire lets it go for as long as possible before eventually calling for it. Certainly Tasmania better in the midfield battle than in the match last season. Skinner tries to shrug free of what did really well to get the handball away to Saywood, but her kick was charged down by Schneider. Saywood went back in, fired it out to Radford, who tried to keep it in, couldn't quite. The umpire says last touch the handball, it'll be Queensland's ball, so an opportunity for Roy. Roy of the Law variety squares it up. Drifting across was Gregory. Handball to Watt. Back to Schneider. Schneider had a fumble, and that's all it takes in this game. If you're not clean, you get caught quickly.
Yeah, Gregory doing an outstanding job in the ruck. They certainly get first use of the ball, but again, the ability of Tasmania to shut it down quickly has been outstanding.
So Clark across there to Lamb in some space. Lamb heads forward. Couldn't find a target, but it fell the way of Saywood. Barwick didn't quite take it cleanly. Pressure arriving from Oswald. Might be a hold, and yeah, free kick going the way of Barwick here. So Brianna Barwick has a free player at half forward in Purton. Hit her up, but she couldn't quite complete the mark. Follows up with a tackle, but Queensland now with some numbers looking to get free was Watt. Fired off a handball to Day. Day heads down the line, but coughed it up to Radford. Radford handed it across to Banks, who drives it down the line. That's a nice mark from Gracie Roy. So Roy sends it back down the line. That kick, an ugly one, drifts out of bounds on the full.
Queensland look to try and shift the ball in different angles. At the moment, they're sort of playing up and down the line. It's playing straight into the hands of Tasmania.
There's some good aerial presence about them, this Tasmanian side. Some strong key position players this year. It was a pretty short lineup they had last year. The area of the Queenslanders really had it over the Tasmanians. Perhaps not quite so this season, as trying to win a battle there. Zarafa. Oh, copping a nasty one, Barwick. She gets up all right.
Gregory getting up very slowly as well. It's a big blow for Queensland.
Yeah, certainly. She's been one of the best players on the ground so far. Taylor Gregory.
There's a big collision. She's going to get off and have a look. Might be a shoulder. Steph O'Brien to come onto the ground. So the trainers will get in to look at Gregory.
He certainly looks in a bit of trouble there, Gregory. So An eye on that one. Ball slapped down to Skinner. Somehow manufactures a kick. Back there was Zarafa. Couldn't take it cleanly. Tracking towards the line is Purton. Under pressure from Zarafa. Almost in the back white. Did well not to concede it. Levine. Handball back. Limbrick pressuring. High up and under kick. Will find its way through to Schneider. So at half back. Queensland side just been struggling to move the ball off half-back the last few minutes. Will again be forced to kick to a contest. Banks and Ravel were there, but beating both of them was Roy. Roy takes it now. It's a wide-open forward 50, and she'll just put it out in front of her forwards and say, get to work. Miller's there, under pressure from King. Has some support, though. Handball from Day. Couldn't quite find a target. Osborne now swoops on the football. Handball over the top for Miller. Miller straightens up and kicks another one. So Queensland get the steadying goal and extend their lead to 10 points.
It was just weight of numbers, wasn't it? They finally got that ball out of that midfield here, which have had struggled all this quarter. Got that kick over the top, and that put the pressure on the defence of Tasmania. And it was just in a weight of numbers. And there's always Queensland had an option to go to, and it was Miller who capitalised to kick a second for the day.
I think he'll perhaps just draw to the contest a bit there. Miller just held her ground in the space. Ball found its way to her. And she's shown already today she knows how to finish.
Tasmania done such a good job of closing all the exits, so they're making Queensland kick down the line. But once they got away with Roy,
really pushed up the field. There was plenty of space out the back there to operate in. So 10 points Queensland's lead. Halfway point of the second quarter. Good battle here at Latrobe. O'Brien back into the ruck. Battling with Freestone. Wins that one down. Roberts-White had her kick smothered by Clark. Clark now on top of it. And umpire says free kick. So Clark.
She's been busy in the midfield.
Being Tasmania's best in the engine room so far. Midfielder North Hobart. And that's a good mark. Taken by Banks on the wing. Mackenzie Banks. Had Lamb presenting short. Will go slightly further afield up towards the half-forward line, but it's a strong mark by O'Brien. O'Brien just shows a little bit of finesse just to pull the kick cleverly to Davey. Davey through the middle of the ground. They're out the back again here, Queensland. Haynes does really well to break that up without giving away the free kick, but the pressure from Miller arrives. Kick back into dispute, just bobbled over the head of Levine and Roberts-White. Webster was there. Tackle laid, paddled by Hill, but straight to Schneider. Slaps it on the boot, inside 50. The key players fly off the hands of Banks. Miller shrugs free of Haynes. Centering handball, an opportunity here for Ship. Tried to straighten up, some good defence from Revel. And handball to Smith, and they're out here via Skinner. Skinner had Clark on her own in the wing, but she spied a better option in the corridor. Juggling the mark in there was White, just guides it wide for Clark. She's nifts it on over the top here. And doing well to not give away the 50 and just check her from playing on quickly there. It was Feta Hugic. So now Tasmania will head inside 50. Almost a towering mark, and indeed it's paid. And Grace White again doing some fine work in the air.
Oh, Tasmania responded a fantastic defensive exit, and then the ball moving inside forward 50 has been outstanding.
White doesn't quite have the journey off hands. Almost an opportunity for Saywood. And it's a rush through from behind.
So that's been great work by Tasmania again. Their ability to find an opponent, a great contested mark inside forward 50. Tassie right in this game.
Grace White showing her fine aerial prowess here today. Such a good player in the air. She'll have another chance to fly here. Had 3 to contend with, almost got it. Came away with the football and sent it around the corner and found Lamb. Too far out to score, so she plays on quickly over the top, and sneaking out the back was Mifsud. So White again influencing a contest, and then they just had the numbers out the back once they'd won the ball.
It's a big opportunity. We spoke about scoreboard pressure before, so this is another must goal for Tassie.
Emily Mifsud is a noted goal kicker, can cut the margin back to 3 points here. Just lets them off the hook.
Great build up by Tassie. They'll rue that one. Hopefully they'll get another opportunity. Queensland now, can they move the ball out better this time?
Short kick finds Pittman, spilt the beans, has time to recover it. Handball across to Zarafa. Clearing kick towards O'Brien, came from behind Skinner. Smith in there too, as was Haynes. Worked it back out to Skinner. Punch one inside the forward 50, and it just spun backwards, stayed in play, and then eventually trickles out. Good kick for territory in the end by Skinner.
Looks like we've got Gregory back, ready to come back onto the ground, so that's good news for Queensland.
Now it'll be O'Brien against Freestone in the ruck. Freestone came over the top. Levine immediately besieged. O'Brien in there, diving on top Mitchell. Fed a Huggage, fed the handball out to Zarafa, who thumps it out of defence, searching for Collegia. Skinner did well. Smith turns the back, square and kick in towards the forward 50. Back with the flight was Dave. He did well to break it up, but it's all Tasmania behind the football. The hurry kick is chopped off there by Hill, who just drives Tasmania forward. Big sea of bodies there. Fell the way of Mitchell. Gets a quick kick away towards the square and juggling the mark, Mifsud.
What a beautiful mark. Just worked her opponent to the side, kept her eyes on the footy, the ball going away from her, and took a nice chest mark about 12 metres out direct on a slight angle.
Well, she missed one she should have kicked moments ago. Can she atone here and cut the margin back to 2 points? Emily Mifsud. This time she makes no mistake. Tasmania have their third. They're hanging right in there. They're 3-2-20. Queensland leading this one by 2 points.
Well, the last 3 or 4 minutes, Andrew, they've been right on top. And when they're getting that ball turned over, they've got plenty of options to go to. And they move that ball quickly. They're finding Queensland just not probably grabbing their opponent too closely.
Yeah, some belief perhaps starting to shine here for the Tasmanians. Well, truly outclassed last year, but Queensland know they're in a battle here in 2025. It's game on at Latrobe. And a big 4 minutes heading into half-time here. Queensland will look to steady. Ryan and Freestone in the middle. Freestone won it down, then looked to bust through the back of the clearance, but she's brought down by Watt.
The Queenslanders throwing Gregory forward now.
We've got some size to trouble Haynes down there, but in the clearance first, they might do so because O'Brien shared it with Watt, sends it towards the half-forward line, and Roy. Radford there to defend the situation, just paddles it towards the boundary, but support now comes from Day. Got a high tackle, ducked under a couple. Ball spills out the back. Tracking it's O'Brien. O'Brien didn't get the kick at all right. And tumbles out of play. An apologetic hand in the air. Steph O'Brien.
Again, the pressure from Tasmania just causing Queensland to make some fundamental errors.
Real threat about that as O'Brien charged out the back into an open 50. A miss kick, but they'll have the opportunity to get something going from a stoppage here. It was one down, but Clark again first hands to the football. Her kick taken by Saywood, and she's taken out of play. Of the Emily variety. Sisters in the Tasmanian team today. She's doing some great work in defence so far as it's tossed in. Brian took front position. Clark, another clearance here, running red hot at the moment. Lasers the ball into the middle of the ground. Down to marking target. The form of Purton. Wastes no time, sends it towards the half-forward line. Not quite juggling the mark, Mitchell. Some pressure came from behind, spilt the way of Hill. Their handball couldn't quite find Saywood. And forced out of there by O'Brien, but she kicks it straight to Joey Ravel. Ravel spies Shania Saywood on her own in the wing, so that's where she heads. Barwick offering short. Decide instead to kick to a contest. And the relieving mark taken by Roy, who drives it into the middle of the ground. Hill did well just to break it up there ahead of Davey. Big ball to be won here. Numbers favouring Queensland. Tasmania will definitely take a stoppage out of that. Well done there by Georgia Hill.
And that's what they've been able to do. They've been able to cause stoppages and get reinforcements to come across. They haven't really lost those little tight contests, Tasmania.
Brian won that one down into space towards Ship. Under pressure now from Smith. Forces another ball up. Brian winning it down. Saywood. No one escaping from that. Umpire lets it go. Clark again emerging with the football. Her kick broken up by Roy. Curtin did well at half forward. Clark burrowing in once more.
Been an outstanding second term by Clark, hasn't it?
She's been everywhere for this Tasmanian side. Having a fine game as Levine can't escape the clutches of Lamb. Driving tackle, O'Brien gets a kick clear. Busting through was Ma. Dominant the first quarter, sent this one up towards Day, won a big contest. Ravel the spare out the back though. Oh, fumbled one she should have had. Had the support in the form of Haynes though, was composed. And Haynes sends it wide for Hill. Hill, oh dear, dropped a chest mark, and now with two Queensland players lurking, it could be costly. Of course, Ma seizes on it and heads for home and is just offline. Nearly a very costly drop there at half back. Ma just misfiring.
Just her ability, Ma, to win that ball inside forward 50, cause turnovers and get shots on goal. She's been very busy today, even she's getting those opportunities.
It will be the last scoring action of the first half here. Just a few seconds left to navigate for the Tasmanians. Here's the siren. It took a good mark, but I don't think she's got 65 metres in her, so she hands it back to the umpire, and that will do us for an intense first two quarters of action here at Latrobe. Last year, Queensland far too strong. They're in a battle this year. The home side have brought the heat. They've got themselves back within 3 points. Half time here, Tasmania 3-2-20. Queensland 3-5-23. How did you see that, Jack Barry?
Well, it all started from Clark in the middle of the ground. She was outstanding. And Tasmania's ability to find a teammate in a better position has been, with their superior kicking skills so far today, has been outstanding. Queensland, on the other hand, have been blazing away a little bit, and whether that's the pressure or perceived pressure, they've just turned the footy over. So full credit to Tasmania. They won the quarter, and they're right up to their armpits in this game, no question.
They certainly are. 3 points in the margin at half time. It's been a cracking battle. We get some better players from you, Jack, before we head to the half-time break. Who stood out the most for you there in quarter number 2?
Well, it's definitely Clark. I thought she was outstanding in the middle. Her ability to win the footy at ground level. And I thought she was fantastic. Up forward, Visual liked the look of Miss Fudd, didn't she? She certainly kept presenting. She got the goal in the end, but she kept presenting, which was really good. Before she got injured, I thought Taylor Gregg was outstanding in the ruck for Queensland. I think she had a shoulder re-strap. She's gone forward, so hopefully she's okay. But as I said, it's more than anything, certainly Tasmania's ability to, as a team, collectively, to get to the contest, to share that ball around and find targets has been fantastic.
It certainly has. So we'll be back shortly with quarter number 3 for you here from Latrobe. Half-time, Queensland 3-5-23, leading Tasmania 3-2-20. Don't go anywhere. This one has classic written all over it through 2 quarters. We'll be back shortly with the second half. Back for the second half here in the representative game between Tasmania and Queensland. Live from Latrobe, it's Queensland holding sway by 3 points after the first half of action. Pretty entertaining game thus far, and certainly very much in the balance as we get ready for the third term. Your thoughts ahead of this big third quarter, Jack Barrett?
Well, I think Queensland, from a Queensland perspective, they want to probably, Coach Stanton will be wanting them to probably have a little bit more composure under pressure with ball in hand. Maybe to try and change some of the angles that they're kicking. Tasmania's ability to be able to shut those exits down, where that made Queensland kick down the line, and then Tasmania were able to win the footy, and they've been able to use the ball really, really well and get that ball inside forward 50 with good kicking. So they've been on top in that area. A couple of times when Queensland has been able to break that line and get that ball over the top, that's when they've sort of looked dangerous. But to the credit of the defence of Revel and Seward have been great today in trying to shut that part down. A few times they've played risky football, Tasmania. They've been under pressure, but they've been able to lock the ball in and get numbers to come and support them when they've been outnumbered. So they've done that really, really well. But as we said, Tasmania have been fantastic, and Queensland are going to have to work really hard to try and get back on top.
Yeah, it's certainly been quite the battle out there. You've not got long in possession before a tackler's going to get you. The heat has been intense. And I think Tasmania will be delighted with the scoreline as it sits. Queensland did threaten to kick away a little early in quarter number 2, and then Tasmania really got themselves back on top around the contest, and that was led by Angie Clark, who's been magnificent for them in the middle. She'll be looking to continue that on in quarter number 3, which we're just about ready to get back underway with. Queensland by 3 points. The third quarter starts here in Latrobe. O'Brien resuming her role in the ruck here is spilt the way of Schneider. Schneider sends one around the corner inside the forward 50. Quick hands there, worked its way to O'Brien. O'Brien handball found Zarafa. Zarafa had her kick well charged down there by King. Zarafa following up, but Tasmania able to exit defensive 50 via King. Doing well to break up the play there was Watt. Sends a high squaring ball in the O'Brien direction. Spills out the back. Smith just spiked it to Haynes, but an umpire's whistle had blown. The free kick's going to go the way of the Queenslanders.
Yeah, I think just a high tackle there. It'll be a free kick going to Baldwin.
So just too far to score Matty Baldwin, so just sets it up towards the teeth of goal and spills out the back of the contest through for a behind. First score of the second half.
It's important, Matty, what gets her hands on the ball for Queensland's perspective. Already she's had a couple of possessions.
Played in this game last year, Watt. Influential in that victory as this one's towards Haynes and White. Clark again on the bottom of the pack, but can't escape this time. Ryan wins it down, busting through Zarafa. Just gets boots a ball. Did well to manufacture a kick inside 50. Watt diving in on top and spills out. So probably surmise that Taylor Gregory's not at 100% with O'Brien starting this quarter in the ruck again.
Yeah, they're playing her up forward again. So again, that's the flexibility that O'Brien can. So she can play in the ruck, but I certainly will miss the influence of those ruck contests with Gregory not playing in that position.
Shallow throw will bounce through to the ruck again. Ryan and Liana Freestone battling away in the ruck. It's a very shallow throw. And again, the umpire says we'll have another crack at that one. Doesn't appear to be much wind out there, no movement in the trees. So
that's all technique.
So that one in a bit more this time. Rucks will contest. Levine, the handball out, getting a hand in the way with Smith. Turning out of play is Skinner. Across the line there, Sarah Skinner. Players in this Tassie outfit. In the recent representative series amongst the leagues down here in Tassie is no one able to win a clearance here, and stoppage after stoppage.
Just watching Matty Watt just sitting off the back of the stoppage here, just in an open space.
Trying to crash through, it was Barwick. Spills out the back, the handball found its way to Zarafa. Curling ball, took an awkward bounce. It favoured Ma. Her handball was shut down, but Ma follows up, tries to shrug free now. The Tasmania defence do ever so well. Stripper of the football and a free kick to Perry King. They hold firm there, the defence. King uses every inch of the Latrobe ground before finding Freestone. Her kick, though, invites in O'Brien. Always had too much size for Smith there. She uses the frame, drifts in, takes the mark, and then stabs one inside 50, and it's a good ball, and it finds Amar.
So a great forward intercept there by Queensland to be able to reset up for this goal.
Amar have the journey here. A little indecisive. Eventually will decide to take the shot on, kicks it towards the goals, but it drifts across the face for a minor score. So Queensland doing all the attacking the opening 5 minutes here, but just a couple of behinds to show for it. Extended their lead to 5. Saywood. Kick to the massing pack of bodies on the wing here. Spills out the back towards Limbrick. Limbrick now looks up, little check side down in the Mitchell direction, but Fetahugic was there to defend it. Fetahugic then wins the ball nicely and steps inside. That was classy. She'll guide one up towards Ma. The kick just missed the target though. Spills out the back to Haynes. Haynes sweeps it across to King. King's kick was a little bit rash, but it found its way through to Purton in the end. Purton now has to battle with Fetahugic, who just slipped up over the shoulder, and a free kick will go the way of Purton.
She's played that hit-up role really well today, Purton.
So from the middle of the ground, she guides one up towards the forward 50. Big contest to be won here. Lamb, handball across to Hill. Hill arches the back, turns back to Skinner. Skinner now sets it up and finds Saywood on the paint of 50. Saywood now sets it up over the top. Dangerous kick towards Banks. Purton, nicely defended by Pittman. If it spilled out the back, Mitchell was all on her own in the goal square. Pittman did well enough.
Now the pressure's on Queensland inside defensive 50.
First foray forward of the quarter for the Tasmanians. Tossed back into play. Rucks let it bounce, and then O'Brien spiked it. And Ship looks to charge out of defence here, just drives it down the corridor. It's a good ball. And they're a chance to go forward via Miller here. She was sent to the deck there. Got her kick away in time. The umpire's going to bring it back and pay a downfield free kick. Caitlin Miller was dealt with after she kicked that one. So downfield to Maddie Baldwin. As Ma presenting in that direction. Might spill out the back for her here, Ma. She was on the move. Can she take it cleanly? Ravel did well again. She's been a pillar at the back for the Tasmanians. That kick straight to a massive Queensland bodies, though. Baldwin bending it round and finds the marking target inside 50. And again, it's Ma.
Oh, she's such a lively, opportunistic forward. Again, her tackle pressure, her ability to try and create some space and lead and hit up again. Her second and third efforts is great. Now she gets another shot on goal.
In the dominant forward for a side here today, Olivia Marr from the angle. Just works it across the face and off hands and through for another behind. So the lead out to an even goal. 3-8 plays 3-2. She doesn't seem to stop moving, Olivia Marr. Just buzzing about that forward 50. Leads once, twice, 3 times. So you don't seem to have anyone able to track her at the moment. Haynes gets hands to it but can't bring in the mark.
So Queensland is looking for some repeat entries as they swing the changes. Trying to rotate their players, keeping them fresh. Tasmania have been pretty good at this all day so far.
Pretty good quarter for the Queenslanders so far, but no goals to show for it. Just 3 behinds. The Skinner just kicks into a wide open field and hopes Limbrick can get to work, but it's Zarafa there for the Maroons who takes it and sends it inside 50 with a penetrating kick. Trying to bust through, couldn't quite do so. Handball out now to Roy. Roy gets a kick away, but seems to be to Haynes. Haynes under pressure from behind, just got boots a ball. Ma pounces on the football, squaring ball almost a mark, not quite. Roy now at ground level, tumbles one, back into dispute. Bit of a hurried kick out of there by Skinner. Spied a teammate in space, though, in Freestone. And Freestone did really well to elude a couple. Sends it down the wing now. Burton outsized rather, but did pretty well. And eventually it'll fall out of play for a ball in.
Yeah, again, well done, Tasmania. Under pressure there, they were able to get that ball out of their D50 and get a re-stoppage here on the commentary wing.
Travel nearly 9 minutes, predominantly been played up this end of the ground. Queensland have extended their lead by 3 points. O'Brien takes it out of the ruck contest and forces it forward. Hands to the football at the boundary line, wins out. Tasmania defence under immense pressure this term, but they're standing up under the pressure thus far.
Gregory going into the ruck. O'Brien going forward for Queensland.
See how Gregory's shoulder is. She wins that tap down decisively to Roy. Roy turns it inside forward 50. Ma buzzing about again, but the handball found its way to King, who's in trouble. Oh. She's brought down, but the tackle just slipped high. And that will bail her out. Miller just a little too high on the tackle there. She was in a bit of trouble otherwise. Kick towards Freestone, who takes the mark at half back. Liana Freestone now will head down the wing. Gregory parked in front. Paddling it forward was Saywood. And Roy is locked up by a good tackle from Mackenzie Banks.
Well, the game is evenly poised, Andrew.
Done well just to absorb this pressure, the Tasmanians. They've been pretty good taking their chances when they have gone forward today. They'll be looking to spring another attack here. Just the 6 points in it. Past the halfway mark of the third term. Freestone won it down. Lamb at ground level. Tried to shrug the tackle. Roberts White is brought down by Olivia Smith.
Just happy to take the tackle, not cough the ball up, which was a good play. Repeat stoppage.
Gregory just looks to box out Freestone. Forced forward by Roy. Roy towards the half-forward line. On the move was Baldwin. Haynes back there. Was under pressure. Just flung the handball out. Ma first to the fall of the ball and drew some traffic. Got the handball away. Kicked back into the corridor. Went straight to Zarafa. Zarafa's kick was charged down, but it fell for Ma. Ma to O'Brien. Back to Ma. Ma will surely kick a goal. It's brilliant play from the Queenslanders. And they extend their lead to 12 points. The big guns, O'Brien and Ma, getting it done.
Add in Zarafa there as well. Those three really made that goal happen. And again, her work ethic this afternoon's been this afternoon's been fantastic. And again, sooner or later, she was going to hit the scoreboard. And it was a great goal in the end.
Yeah, it seemed inevitable, didn't it? Just stayed on the move, repeat efforts, gets to multiple contests. Gets some reward there. So Queensland do get a goal, which their play this quarter had really demanded. They've been firmly on top. Just the three behinds to show for it before that. Extend their lead to 12 points as Gregory wins it down, but Barwick sharks the tap. Sends a high ball in the direction of Grace White. Couldn't quite complete the mark. The pressure from Davidson. Lamb tried to strip over it. Got the handball away just in time, though, to Osborne. Ball will be won in the middle. That's a good tackle. Will it be rewarded? Yes, it will. So a free kick going the way here of Mitchell, who wastes no time. Wheels off and drives Tasmania inside forward 50. Was looking for Mifsud. Ball to ground. Spilled the way of Gregory. Clear and kick. Finds a mark in the middle of the park there. Ella Collegia guides it up in the direction of Davey. Spills out the back towards Osborne. Osborne looking to shrug free of Smith. Smith forcing her wide. Smith at ground level, paddled it. Ma battling away with Radford. Ma comes away with it. Got a kick around the corner inside forward 50. Davey goes down. Ravel got the hands free. Couldn't quite find Clark though. Day bustling through. Day will follow up. Gregory The ground level. Oh, elusive there was the big ruck, Gregory, and she drives them deep inside 50. O'Brien, the furthest forward. Big battle here with Saywood. O'Brien with strength. Squared it up. Big tackle from Haynes. O'Brien again. Repeat efforts. And O'Brien is able to get boot to ball and extend the lead to 18 points. Pure strength there. She's a dangerous proposition in the goal square is Stephanie O'Brien, and Queensland have 2 in a minute.
Well, she had to grab the moment, was there to grab, and just through brute strength, she was able to keep her feet and get that goal kicked. We see that Davey in the hands of the trainers out on that far forward pocket there, but there's no doubt since Gregory's gone into the ruck, there's certainly been a shift, hasn't it, around the ability to be able to clear the ball away from the contest.
Yeah, definitely. She's having an influence there, and Haynes did really well initially in halting O'Brien, but then it fell to King to try and hold her up, and just so strong, so hard to bring down. Gets the kick away. O'Brien sees Queensland 18 clear.
Davey coming off for Queensland. I think she'll be replaced by Laura Roy from Morningside.
Queensland.
Been such a physical game, hasn't it?
It really has. The pressure had been building up this quarter, and they finally get a couple of goals to show for it. So an 18-point lead, and Tasmania needing to respond late in the third term here. So they're just starting to break away, and they're going to get another clearance here as Gregory pumps them deep inside forward 50. It's out the back. O'Brien looming large. From the ground level, just flung a boot out and trapped it. Roy got boot to ball to the line. And it's through for a rush behind. I thought Miller was about to apply the finishing touch there. 19 points to the lead.
Desperation defence there by Tassie. Fantastic.
So, starting to control this game, Queensland. As Osborne works the handball back. They'll go inside 50 again. No, they won't, because that was brilliantly charged down there by Limbrick. Round the corner once again, searching ball. Gregory lands on her feet, strikes towards goal, playing goalkeeper as Ravel on the last line. Just peeled out behind the contest. Saved a goal there, looks to get them moving quickly. Skinner had worked hard to get into space. The kick couldn't quite find her. Has to battle away at ground level. Cleverly just finessed one down the line. Hill, ball stays in. Miller works the handball out. Ship, squared it up. Lamb comes in with a good tackle. Levine, Lamb in again, repeat efforts, and they force a stoppage.
Ma really injecting herself into the game there, taking some bodies with her at ground level.
Gregory just takes it out of the ruck herself, sends it round towards the teeth of goal, but Haynes able to take the relieving mark. And some crucial contests this quarter as Libby Haynes. Most penetrating kick on that occasion. Lamb tried to work it to Hill under pressure from Ship. Clears out towards Mitchell. Across the line for a ball in.
There's been a lot of repeat entries for Queensland this term. They've certainly lifted in the third term. And I think Gregory's played a major influence in that happening.
They've put the clamps on Clark as well. Was running right in that second term. Hasn't had the same influence this quarter. And again, that's going to be Gregory, as you mentioned, starting to really get on top in the ruck, and they're winning this clearance battle pretty decisively. She'll put the Tasmanian defence under pressure once more with a driving kick and finds a marking target. Whistle gone, free kick to Haynes for a push-out.
Yeah, Haynes just pushed out there.
So Haynes goes looking for Mitchell. Will have to come from 2 deep, and Levine always had the front spot, takes the mark. Can pump them inside again. Under siege at the moment, this Tasmania defence. That's a good ball. Play on must have got a hand on it. Zarafa works it towards the goal square. Haynes again. Just released the handball, but it still might be a goal coming up here. Towing it through. Yes, it's a goal. It's Collegia. Just had to wait for confirmation from the goal umpire, but Collegia soccers through from close range. And Queensland have responded in quarter number 3. Tasmania threw down the challenge in the second term, but what a response this has been. And they lead now by 25 points.
Yeah, we spoke about repeat entries inside there, just the relentless pressure Again, outstanding again. Olivia Marr just really causing havoc up there. If she's not kicking goals, she's certainly crashing in the packs and knocking people over and creating opportunities for others. And Zarafa's also been a dominant quarter for her as well. She's been playing well.
Yeah, she's had a real influence, hasn't she? And they look to win another clearance and go forward once again. They're dominating out of the middle at the moment, the Queenslanders, putting this Tassie defence under all sorts of pressure. Roy didn't quite do enough, so we're just getting a hand in. But now it's Day charging through the back of the pack, and Day's just missing, just drifting offline.
Yeah, great play by Roy. Was out of position there, falls to the ground, but still kept the ball alive.
They kicked 3 goals 5 in the first half, Queensland. They've kicked 3 goals 5 in this quarter, which speaks to their dominance, really. Anyone get a touch on that? It will be tossed back into play, but Tassie have scarcely gone forward of centre. No, it is going to be a Queensland ball, so Roy will drive them in again. Spoiled out behind. Hill will happily see this one across. In real trouble exiting defensive 50 at the moment, the Tasmanians. Short to Skinner. Skinner called to play on here. Just skips around Collegia in the end, or is it going to be 50? It will be 50. Collegia moving before the whistle, says the umpire. So that's one way to get our defensive 50. A rush kick, but found its way through to Clark. Clark now, can she find someone inside the forward 50? She'll drive it wide. There's no one there for the Tasmanians, though. Wasn't a good kick. Ship. Time to compose herself. Handball to Watton. Now they work it down the line. That too, not a great kick. Straight to Grace White, but the siren will beat Grace White. Oh, she'll be given a 50-metre penalty just in the nick of time. And perhaps a lifeline here. How generous is the umpire going to be with a 50-metre penalty? This will test her. She's going to have to kick from about 45. You would take a fair roost from here from Grace White. Tasmania haven't scored this quarter. Can White get them something after the siren? I think she knew the distance was beyond her. She tried for the torpedo, didn't catch it right. And that will end a pretty dominant quarter from the Queenslanders. They responded to Tasmania in domineering fashion. They did all the scoring that quarter, kicked 3 goals 6 to no score. And they lead this one by 27 points at three-quarter time.
Yeah, fantastic quarter there by Queensland. Again, they once we saw Gregory go into ruck, we just saw the game really change. I think Zarafa really started to win some critical balls. She's such a potent kick on that left foot. We thought that Marr was outstanding with her, just her busyness up forward. And again, the skipper in O'Brien was also really good. Probably Clark didn't get the dominance that she had over that second quarter. So a chance to regroup. They've got a home team crowd here behind them. Tasmania, they've been outstanding so far. It'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back in the last term.
Yeah, we'll see if they can regroup and bring a little bit more of that intensity they had in the first half. Queensland really putting together a dominant quarter there. They've busted the game open and have a pretty decisive lead at three-quarter time. 27 points the margin. We'll be back shortly with the final term for you from Latrobe. She's a dangerous proposition in the goal square, deep inside forward 50. It's out the back. O'Brien looming large. From the ground level, just flung a boot out and trapped it. Roy got boots the ball to the line. And it's through for a rush behind. I thought Miller was about to apply the finish. Under siege at the moment, this Tasmania defence. That's a good ball. Play on must have got a hand on it. Zarafa works it towards the goal square. Haynes again. Just released the handball, but it still might be a goal coming up here. Towing it through. Yes, it's a goal. It's Collegia. Just had to wait for confirmation from the goal umpire, but Collegia. So back for the final quarter here in a state representative footy. It's Tasmania v Queensland. Final quarter headed your way. Queensland made their move in the third term, kicked 3 goals, 6 to turn a 3-point halftime advantage into a 27-point lead as we head for the final change. What do you reckon the message from the coaches was there in the three-quarter time huddle, Jack Barry?
Well, I think, again, we saw Queensland that quarter start to win that ball around the stoppages and just to be able to shift the ball in the different angles. There were pressure. There was a forward-half game, no question about it. They were causing forward-half turnovers. So they really lifted in that regard. They're probably a bit more balanced with Gregory going into the ruck, no question. For Tasmania, they've just got to get back to what's working really well for them. Their pressure and tackle pressure has been outstanding, and their ability to be able to shift the ball and find targets. So they just need to start winning the ball. They're going to need a big quarter from Clark, but she's quite an influential player, so hopefully she can get going.
So a significant lead for the Queenslanders. Tasmania, if there are any chance, will need to strike early. That begins in the clearance here, but Gregory gets the better of Freestone. It'll be Queensland via Roy, who go forward once again. Radford got a hand in, but turning the kick away was Miller. Haynes spiked that one away. Looming is Schneider. Gathers now under pressure. High ball from Roberts White into the middle of the 50, and juggling the mark is Miller. She's been a threat all afternoon. She'll go back from 35 directly in front.
Yeah, just had the drop zone there, Miller.
Opts to pass. Of course, the option was there. The tireless Mar gave another lead and just caught the Tassie defence on their heels there. She'll go back for an easier shot.
She's been fantastic today. As I say, she just opens up opportunities. She's probably trying to drag a defender out there, but she'll become a real option, and now she gets a shot on goal.
Olivia Marr, one of the best players on the ground, sends this one on its way. Will it have the journey right to the line? And I reckon it's just got there. Umpires will conference. Reaction from the Tasmanian defenders suggests goal to me, and indeed that is confirmed. Olivia Marr picks up right where she left off in quarter number 3 and extends the Queensland lead to 33.
Well, reward for effort. As I said, the ability just to drag her defender out of that hot spot where the ball could have possibly ended. However, they decided to lower her eyes and just find the lead. She took a nice little mark, and again, she's kicked a goal. She's been buzzing around all day, and it's just the start that Coach Jamie Stanton would have won. She runs a great program. She's a clear communicator, and they've responded to her challenge over the halftime break.
So back to the middle, Queensland now. What's surely a match-winning lead. Some good work from O'Brien on the line there, just to see that one through, using that strength of hers. Gregory continues to be influential in the middle. Roy locked up this time. Trying to bust through his Barwick, but she's going nowhere. Roy has a hold of her. Slipped above the shoulder, says the umpire. So Barwick will get the free kick. Drives Tasmania forward. Can she find a marking target here? So Rafa did well just to get hands in the way. That's a good tackle from behind by Skinner. Draws the throw and gets the free kick. Skinner has Purton wide open inside forward 50. That's right where she heads. Spilt the mark. And out the back it goes to Schneider. Steers it down the line. Finds Roberts White. Roberts White. It's into the corridor. Some good body work from Roy just to work Skinner underneath the football. Sends him up towards forward 50. Haynes got a decisive fist in there. Spilt the way of Watt. Handball, though, found Baldwin. Baldwin worked it over the top to Marr. Marr skips free and then guides one over the top. Had a wide open player inside forward 50 and Ship and hit her up to perfection.
Well, good hard running by Ship on the wing there. She runs in defence. She runs through the midfield of the ground and she runs hard forward. Now she gets another chance to kick a goal.
She has been impressive today, Rihanna Ship. Just lets herself down with that one. Minor score only, so 34 points to the lead, but certainly moving the ball with a lot more ease than they were in the first half, aren't they?
Yeah, and Roy's been an influential player as well, Laura Roy, and as well as Marr.
Yeah, I've enjoyed her game, Roy. Here's Lamb at half back. Tasmanians shank the kick a little, straight to Schneider. And a large piece of that, umpire will pay a free kick her way. offering short. We'll just stand it up a little deeper, and that's a strong contested mark taken there by Gregory. Showing no ill effects from the shoulder injury earlier in this one. That's a nice mark from Ravel. Strong in the air. He's had a power of work to do in defence. For the most part, has held up pretty well, Ravel. Just sheer weight of opportunities, though. See Queensland start generate some scores as the afternoon has worn on. Spoiling from behind was Banks. It's a firm tackle laid there by Zarafa, who's really influential in the second half.
Yeah, she certainly has. Such a great kick. Laser left foot.
One down by Gregory. Saywood battling away in there. Watt. Brian now to ruck against Freestone. Brian paddles it down to Day. Day tackled by Limbrick, but got the ball away just in time to Davey. Sends them forward. Juggling to Mark Gregory. She can do no wrong. Plays on quickly. Just spies a player over the top. Sends it towards Ma Haynes. Did ever so well in defence. The Tasmanians. The kick they might invite in Gregory. Broke it up. Chance now for the Queenslanders. Davey back to O'Brien. Under pressure. Got the handball away just in time. Battling away was King. Handball. Day through traffic. Scooped it over the top looking for O'Brien. Day follows up. Saywood tracking it but just running out of room.
Just great pressure again there by Tassie. They'll get the ball back. They haven't stopped the pressure all day.
Endeavour has been there, that is for sure, as Levine balks one way, then sets it up. Gregory.
No, she's been outstanding, hasn't she? She's probably been the most influential player on the ground. It's just used to say that. She does a turnover.
Just the commentator there, straight to Ravel. But yeah, certainly really has been dominant out there. Brief scare when she came off with a shoulder injury and spent some time deep forward as a result, but has certainly had a profound influence on this one. Long ball. Clark at ground level. Held up. Freestone winning that one down. O'Brien scooped it out. Smith swoops on the football, gave it across to Skinner. Skinner sends the Tasmanians towards the half-forward line. Hill paddles it on. Osborne. Some numbers favouring the Queenslanders, and they should be able to clear it out of defence here. Nice work from Mackenzie Banks, though. Did really well just to turn in and take the contested mark. So Banks sets it up for Hill. Springs to her feet immediately and drives Tasmania deep in the Mifsud direction. Was she being held? She certainly felt she was. The umpire didn't agree. So let's throw it in.
Yeah, nice little build-up there again by Tasmania. Hill kicking the ball just to advantage. Unfortunately, couldn't drag the mark in. But they'll get the stoppage inside forward 50.
Well, since they scored, Tasmania haven't scored this half. Can they get something here? No, it'll be Queensland to clear it away. Lamb and Davey bounces over both their heads. Davey somehow manufactures a kick, but it fell the way of Smith under pressure from O'Brien. Back towards Ma. Now here's Hill under pressure. Work the handball back to Smith. And her kick is chopped off by Schneider. Schneider looks to spread the play a little, but just invited in Smith. Numbers favoured the Maroons, and charging through with it is Roy. She'll pump them inside forward 50. Haynes took front position, couldn't keep a hold of the football. Ma, so elusive, so classy. It's Ma for another one this time, just offline.
Oh, she's been certainly the most dangerous forward all day. Right from the opening bounce, she's been buzzing around.
They've had no answer for it. Couldn't quite provide the finish on that occasion. Clearing ball towards Haynes. Ground level forces the handball out the back of the contest. Tuning into it was Feta Hugic. Purton. Feta Hugic goes back in under pressure from Banks. Strips her of the football. Skinner's kick straight though to White, who Pumps a high ball inside forward 50, spoiled away. Miller was in there, so too Clark. Worked a handball, but it went straight to O'Brien. O'Brien sets it up. The numbers favouring the Tasmanians, but it might fall the way of Mara. It does mark, and she skipped free. She keeps her feet. She straightens up, and she fires it for home. Does it have the carry?
I think it's over the line.
I thought it was, to my eye. The goal umpire and the field umpires will confer. I thought it looked pretty good. And the umpires say no. Touch ball.
Again, her ability to keep the feet, didn't fall to ground, kept herself in the contest, just didn't quite have the penetration she needed to put through Queenslanders 8, but 21 scoring shots to 5. That was probably a bit of a story.
Yeah, it was 23-20 at half time. Queensland have absolutely flicked a switch in the second half. Roy drives them deep forward once again. Off hands, umpire's whistle go in favour of the Tasmanians. A free kick for Radford. Certainly 4 goals, 9 to no score in this second half. It's been dominant from Queensland. Tasmania threw down the challenge to them in the first half, but they have responded in domineering fashion. Looks like it's going to be 3 in a row for the Queenslanders. Chipping backwards, Pittman to Feta Hugic. Hugic heads corridor. Spoiled away. Ground level hill. Day tracking the football. Davidson. Roberts White was in there. Banks gathers it, but she is locked up by Davidson. Down by Gregory. Clark, so good in the first half of the Tasmanians. It's quieter in the second. Flicked out in the direction of Freestone. Trying to bust through Feta Hugic. Got boots of ball. Scrap away before the umpire calls for it. Gregory continuing to dominate the ruck contest. Won this one down to Day, but Clark wraps her up. Gregory emphatically over the top. Miller couldn't quite gather. Saywood. Stoppage here at the moment. Freestone won that one down to Skinner, but she is immediately claimed. So we'll go again, the rucks. Either decisively on that occasion, but Day comes through the pack. Smith applies some pressure, did just enough to put her off the kick. Ravel, handball to Smith, had to get rid of it quickly, did, but lost it to Miller. Roberts White, her kick was smothered. Day with some room to manoeuvre, looks to bend one back. Haynes does well and draws the contact and gets the free kick. So Libby Haynes, last line of defence, kicks to a contest on the pain of 50. There again was the towering Gregory.
She's responded well from that injury.
Yeah, she continues to just, from contest to contest, not just the ruck work where she's had an influence. She's really done a large part in stopping Tasmania being able to clear the ball out of defence. Keep kicking the contest where she is the tallest player, and Tassie did really well in the first half of that part of the game. Contested work around the air, but Gregory has been extremely influential in this second half. Line was in there. Umpire spotted a hold. It's going to go the way of Levine.
She's had her moments today as well.
She guides this one and finds the marking target in the form of Roy. Roy plays on immediately, squares it up. Ball spills out the back, tracking it Sharply there, Davey got it to Gregory. Oh, a little bit of candy, and then fires one towards the goal line. It's going to be another one touched right on the line. I reckon it's the third one this quarter.
The goalkeeping has been outstanding today. They've stopped probably at 4 goals.
So they prevent another one. The Queensland domination continuing here in the second half. Tasmania still haven't found a score as Radford tries to clear defensive 50. A bit of pressure going to be invited here. Slapped out by Mitchell. Ship works it over the top. Zarafa squaring ball. Almost a mark, not quite. Collegia, Gregory just eluded her long arm. Cracking in Miller. She's brought down. Force another stoppage. Knocking on the door here, Queenslanders, as they have been for much of the final term. The defence has had a mountain of work to do. Ma had a handball smothered. Follows up, applying pressure to King. Gregory got a hand in the way, got a kick out of there. And juggling the mark is Collegia.
Well, a nice little clearance there from Gregory, who's been outstanding, and just a little kick forward to advantage. And Collegia now gets a chance to kick her second for the afternoon.
Extend the lead to 44 points. She makes no mistake. The 8th of the contest, her second. And a fairly emphatic 44-point lead here for Queensland. It's been all one-way traffic in the second half. They've stamped their authority all over this football game.
Well, the multi-talented Ella Collegiate obviously just finished coming over from playing flag football, representing Australia overseas, and then back here representing Queensland. So multi-skilled. She gets 2 goals in this big state game today.
Flag football soon to be an Olympic sport, flag football.
That's right.
Now, she's done some nice things inside forward 50 today, Collegia. It's another who's played in this game last year and impressed. Tasmania would be desperately hoping to find a score here in the final 3 minutes 50. They've been shut out so far in the second half. Can Mitchell get something going? She's got a couple to contend with. Did really well just to work it on there to Barwick, who forces them inside the forward 50. Trying to shrug free his Mifsud and drew some high contact. Immediately points Gullwood. Kicked one and missed one to this end. Quarter number 2. Emily Mifsud. You have to carry the ball near 40 metres. Gives it a good ride to the line and just touched right on the last line of defence into the post. So Tasmania, at least on the board in the second half here. Goal thereafter, but the score had not changed since half-time. As Queensland to build again, searching ball, finds Osborne. Osborne guides it down the line. Lamb looking to break things up. Effort in there too, but forced forward by Watt. Roy, gee, she's lifted in this second half.
Yeah, she's had a great second half, the girl from Morningside.
A big part of them really getting on top around the midfield battle. Free kick blown. This one will go the way of Grace White. Guides this one in the direction of Mackenzie Banks. To contend with. Happy to see a stoppage. One down by Gregory. Smith handed it straight to Zarafa. Zarafa gave it to Day, who handed it off to Roy, who charges forward, sends him inside 50 again. Haynes with another intercept. Pretty good back there for Tasmanians. Haynes kicks it towards Ravel, who juggles the mark. Dam wall eventually bursting for Tasmania. Held up pretty well in the first half, but it's just been under constant siege in the second half, the defence. Schneider now has some room to manoeuvre. Sends this one forward. Collegia. Set up kick through the hands of Skinner. Skinner will go back in for it. Handball out the back to Radford, who spies Lamb in space and hits her up. Lamb towards Grace White. Not quite Federhugic, and Watt locks it in. Final minute of the contest. 43 points in favour of Queensland. In a mighty impressive second half. Clark can't escape there, but will get an over-the-shoulder free kick. So I think Federhugic thought she'd been given a holding the ball free kick. Not to be. Skinner. A standing start. Sets a task for Banks. Had 2 to beat. Zarafa. A little bit of a don't argue from Zarafa, but ran over the line in the process.
Had a big influential third term, Zarafa. Really helped change Queensland's fortunes. Gone back in defence this quarter, but certainly made a bit of a game change in that third term.
Yeah, she's one of the key movers in that third quarter as her side really made the big move. It's been a powerful second half display from Queensland. The siren sounds and confirms their victory. 43 points, 3 in a row for the Maroons. They come down to Latrobe and score an emphatic victory here. They were tested by the Tasmanians. Really threw down the challenge in that first half. It was 23-20 at half-time. Tasmania really took it up to them, but their class and strength and power really shone through in that second half, and they powered away to a pretty emphatic 43-point win here at the final siren.
Yeah, certainly did, and it's a good call. I thought Tasmania, they were made to earn it. Tasmania in that first half, I thought, were fantastic. Just their pressure. They really owned that second quarter. They were outstanding. But Queensland were able to regroup after half-time, and they got the ball moving their way under Jamie Stanton. She would have been clear with her messaging, and we saw the influence of Gregory and Roy really come into the game. Zarafa was outstanding in that third term. Federhugic was strong in defence, along with Pittman, and Ship's work up and down the ground. I thought they were outstanding. And for Tasmania, we have a look at some of their good players today. I thought Seward and Ravel were fantastic in defence, but as you said earlier through the call, Andrew, just the constant ball coming inside forward 50 so many times made it hard. Clark had a great first half, outstanding second quarter, but was probably a little quieter in the second half. Miss Fudd and White, Haynes all bobbed up at different stages of the game. But I think there's plenty to like about Tasmania. They're certainly heading in the right direction. And, this is what happens in modern-day footy. You have a quiet quarter against good sides, and all of a sudden you fall behind. But full credit to Queensland. They've got a great program going headed by the chairman of selectors, David Lake, and some really good coaching staff coming through headed by Jamie Stanton. But all in all, great day of footy.
Yeah, it was an intriguing contest. And I think Tassie they'll be delighted with what they showed in that first half. They were blown out of the water last year when they went up to Bond University in that one. Came back, it was probably the reverse of this one, came back a bit late, probably undid a little bit of the damage on the scoreboard. But when the game was there, Queensland were pretty dominant. For the first half here, they really took it up to Queensland. They threw down the gauntlet, and Queensland knew they were in a game. They had to respond. To their credit, they did, and they were outstanding in that second half. The key movers really got on top, and as you touched on a number of times, Gregory's influence was profound out of the middle. That's where it started, and suddenly the defence it held up really well early. Sheer weight of opportunities told. So we're going to head down on the post-game presentation. Who do you fancy for the medal out of that one, Jack?
Well, for me, it was Gregory. I thought between Gregory and Ma, for me, I thought Gregory just really influenced the contest of the game. When she went off the ground, we were good in the ruck. We worked hard. Queensland worked hard in the ruck, but they were outstanding. But I thought Clifford, to your point, I think Jodie Clifford would be thinking our best footy stacks up pretty well. We just got to get more consistent at it. And I think the series they've had with 3 or 4 games this year has probably really helped them.
We'll try and catch the interviews there. I'm not sure if audio is going there or not, but we'll throw it down to ground level for the presentation. Looks like Libby Haynes has been given the best player for Tasmania. Yeah, had a pretty good second half, as we said. Took a lot of good intercept marks, but the ball just came there far too often.
Yeah, no, look at the back six tried hard.
No surprises there. Taylor Gregory, an outstanding game in the ruck. Looked like it might have been a shortened day there at one stage when she went off with a shoulder injury, persevered through it, produced a dominant display, and a pretty worthy winner there of Queensland's medal. So they'll be presented with their trophy. With the pictures of the celebrating Queensland players. We'll take a breather before game number 2 in this big double header from Latrobe. Next up, it is the men. As Tasmania look to try and emulate what Queensland just did and make it 3 in a row. We'll be back shortly with that one.